4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey, what's up YouTube? LA Tech Trends back again here. Today we're going to be looking at the Saints Row Reboots DLC, the Heist and Hazardous, which true to its name is essentially a parody of the Fast and Furious films. Now before I start this review, I want to answer the glaring question: what did I think of what is arguably the most hated game of 2022? I'm about to be executed for this one. I liked it. As my friend put it very beautifully, he said that if they hadn't put the Saints Row name on this game, if they hadn't fucked with our childhoods, then I'm pretty sure everyone would have loved this game. And that's true, you know, because honestly, guys, why'd you plaster the Saints Row name onto the game? Like, this is the thing I don't get about reboots. They want to change everything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the characters in this game are basically I mean, they'd probably be bullied by the original Saints Row cast. Let's be real here. So yeah, that's the biggest mistake. I feel like this isn't the true Saints Row game, but still a very fun one at that. But anyways, let's get that out of the way and look at the Heist and Hazardous. The Heist and Hazardous takes place in Sunshine Springs, which is a new area in the map that is only unlockable if you purchased either the DLC or the Season Pass. Sunshine Springs really has a Palm Springs-esque vibe. It's a upscale vacation town, and it is here where you will meet the main antagonist of this DLC package, typical Hollywood douchebag Chris Hardy. Now, if you're not a fan of spoilers, I'd recommend skipping 15 seconds ahead, because I'm going to be looking at the story of the game. So essentially, Chris Hardy has a hit mission for you. You basically have to kill somebody that, you know, he has some Hollywood beef with. And instead of paying you, he gives you a signed picture being the douchebag that he is. You know, it's $1 million mission, but no, you don't get your $1 million. You just get a picture of this douchebag with his punchable face. And basically, after that, you essentially blackmail him. So yeah, it's a very interesting take on the Fast and Furious formula. It's basically a typical betrayal story set in the same vein as the Fast and Furious films. So it basically felt like Saints Row Reboot and Fast and Furious had a baby. I really loved this story, and I wish I saw more of this actually in the main game campaign. Then again, I did enjoy the story in the main campaign, but the story here was very unique. The Heist and Hazardous DLC has 3 new missions, with this particular mission that you see here being my absolute favorite, aka the grand finale of the game, where you're basically in a helicopter and you pick up your crew, which is in their car with a magnetic attachment that's mounted onto the helicopter. You know, you had a lot of ridiculous, just over-the-top crazy missions like this in the main story as well, but the Heist and Hazardous does so many things differently. And although this was kind of like a homage to the final mission in the main story, the previous 2 missions had a lot of stealth elements and were unique in their own way. In fact, you infiltrate an auction as a hologram of Chris Hardy himself. You know, just some crazy over-the-top shit that you didn't see in the main story was sprinkled into this DLC. With the only thing I just didn't like about this DLC was the fact that it was too short. You know, it was like a cupcake. It's so delicious, and but it's like 2-3 bites in and you're already done with the cupcake. You know what I'm saying? And it just felt like a treat that was just too light. It was like a $10 treat, but you know, it didn't feel like I got my $10 worth. I really wish I got my season pass for this game, because it just felt too short-lived. And I genuinely liked everything that was presented here. The new weapons, the new customization options, new vehicles, the new story mission. But 3 new missions, dude, for $10, I understand. But I mean, if you're going to get this, please get the season pass, because this by itself is not worth $10. I mean, you're paying $10 admission for like an hour of content. And as good as it is, I don't know, man. It felt short-lived. Overall, I'm going to be giving the Heist and Hazardous DLC an 8 out of 10. I had a ton of fun, but unfortunately found myself ultimately somewhat disappointed when my fun ended so abruptly when everything just felt so short. But anyways, I think it's worth playing if you've got the season pass. A great DLC at an unworthy price.